Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. Look, I'm going to start off Manchester United versus Crystal Palace yesterday. I don't feel any better after a night's sleep. In fact, I feel a lot worse. And I said it on my match reaction yesterday, and obviously I was very angry, and that's what happens in the first few minutes and hours after a game. You're very angry. But I actually do feel exactly the same, just a little bit more focused on the issues, I suppose. And look, the first thing I want to say is that, look, I'm very unhappy with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Manchester United yesterday. I don't think the lack of spending in the summer is totally to blame for yesterday. You should still have enough to beat Crystal Palace. However, Solskjaer out, Solskjaer's not good enough, Solskjaer's out of his depth, Solskjaer's a puppet. All those things may well happen, but at the moment, I'm like, why would anybody even want to start muttering those words? It's not the path to go down. It's not the path to go down. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer may well not be good enough for Manchester United. He may end up being well out of his depth. But Solskjaer out is not the route we need to go down. We spoke about this in the summer. If it's going to get worse, and it looks like it's going to get worse, then you've got to focus your energy on the fact that this is higher up. This is higher up. Ollie's like the club legend that a lot of people wanted. Give it to Giggsy, give it to Gary Neville, everything. We've given it to Solskjaer. We've given it to an ex-club legend, right? So we've tried that route. We've tried Mourinho, the best Wikipedia page in history. That didn't work. We've tried Van Gaal, successful at big clubs. That didn't work. And we tried an established Premier League manager with potential in Moyes, and that didn't work. We've tried everything, and the consistency is that for the last 6 years we've failed, but we've had the same chief executive and we've had the same owners and we've had the same poor decisions. And that's the issue. And you want to talk about investment in the summer? Well, we signed an £80 million centre-back in Harry Maguire. We sold an £80 million striker in Lukaku. Our net spend is under £70 million. And people say, oh, net spend, you're just like Liverpool. Net spend's very important when you're accusing your owners of being cash cows who bought us on debt and bleed this money, bleed our club dry. And we've had 4 transfer windows, if you count the last 2 Januaries, and we've spent on average 30 million. 30 million in the last 4 transfer windows. For a club that obviously is falling apart, there has been no major investment to try and turn that. And that scares me the most about this season, actually, is that sponsors are going to walk away. This isn't 1 year blip in the Europa League. This is definitely going to be 2 years in the Europa League. Sponsors will walk away. We're going to be on the TV a lot less. We are crumbling as a club, and some people don't want to accept that. The trust was always the big thing, and that is like, Manchester United, you love them. It's like your partner. You love them. And when they cheat on you, you still love them, but the trust has gone. And I spoke about this in the summer, and I stand by this. There's a few things I want to get into, but this is the big thing that I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets angry enough, by the way. I mean, I read some of the things he said after the game. First half was poor. Second half, excellent. We lacked that Midas touch. You're picking the team, Ollie. The Midas touch is the creator. You keep picking Lingard because he runs around. Like, he's not Mo Farah. He's not there to break records for running round the track. He's there to go out and create goals. You say we lack the Midas touch. We know we lack the Midas touch. I can't overemphasise, if you didn't watch my video midweek last week, I think it was last Wednesday, 5 things Ollie needs to fix before, right now, straight after the Wolves game. People said you were being negative. Go back and listen to those 5 things. He didn't change any of them for the game against Crystal Palace, and we lost. And I'm sorry, when I as a fan and you as a fan are highlighting 5 major issues with the team, and he doesn't rectify any of them, football's not hard. I've played it all my life. I've coached it a lot. I've watched loads of games. I'm not talking about me here. I'm talking about you. You'll have all done the same. Football's not hard. There's 2 goals. There's 11 players on each team, and you've got to put the ball in the back of the net. It's not hard. It's been being played for decades, years and years. It's not hard. It's really quite simple if you do the simple things. And he didn't rectify 5 major issues from that game against Wolves. And then he comes out after the game and says, basically just comes out and says, oh, it's just one of those games. We were unlucky. Maybe we should have had more penalties. What? To miss? And we lacked the Midas touch. We know the Midas touch basically means we lacked that spark. Lingard is not good enough. I feel sorry for Jesse Lingard and I feel sorry for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but grow a pair. Please grow a pair and drop him. He is not ever going to be good enough. You seem to be picking him game to game, hoping you're going to get Messi Lingard. And I think we will. Maybe he'll play him against Southampton, he'll score 2 goals and everyone will go, Messi Lingard's back. But consistency in any area of life is the consistent. And the reality is, Jesse Lingard is consistently poor in that number 10 position. And yeah, he might have a little couple of games where he's missing Messi, Lingard again, but you've got to look at the consistent performances. And the consistent performance of Jesse Lingard in a Manchester United shirt over the last 3 or 4 years has been pretty poor. He had that 2 months where he was amazing, but around that, pretty poor. And that's what he is. And Ollie needs to accept that, but he won't. Oh, he ran around a lot. I don't really care about that. You say you lack a Midas touch. We know. But you're picking players that are just not creative enough, and that's the problem. That is the problem. Pure and simple. It really, really is. But the trust is gone. The trust is gone, and that's what irritates me the most about this. I cannot listen to people coming out and saying, it's one result. We might, it's a rebuild. You've got to be patient. I'm like, God, how naive are you? Do you not look at the bigger picture of Manchester United Football Club and realise what I said yesterday, and I meant it? We're dying. We're dying, and we're digging our own grave watching it happen. Those people upstairs, they're clueless. Whether they're good people, whether they are there for the money, whatever, they're clueless. They're absolutely clueless when it comes to running a football club. They're businessmen. They've got all their season ticket money. They've got all their shirt sales. You see everybody on the fan cams yesterday. They're all in the new kit. They're all angry, but they're all in the new kit. Glazers have got what they need. Their next focus is whether we get top four and whether they get a little bit more money. But for the season, transfer window's shut. They haven't got to spend any more money. Only things happening now is money coming in and a little bit of bad press. Do you think they really give a damn about that? No, they don't. But in relation to the football team, because that's what we've got to deal with, the trust is gone. So like a cheated partner, like I say, we've been cheated on so many times. Cardiff, Huddersfield, all the bad results of last season, the season before, the season before, the season before. Over the summer, a lot of you were saying, yeah, I believe Ollie can get us to go and win a load of games. I heard people saying this week, we've got 4 winnable games now. Palace, Southampton, Leicester, West Ham. 12 points from that and we're in a good place. I said, why would you think we're going to get 12 points from those games? At what point in the last 6 years have we consistently gone and beaten teams we should beat? We've always got a Huddersfield in us. We've always got a Cardiff in us. And we've always got a Crystal Palace in us. And we had it yesterday. I don't trust this team. And when you don't trust the team, it makes it very, very, very difficult to be positive. We are only 3 games into this season and we have just lost to Crystal Palace at home. How are we supposed to, as a fan base, sit here and go, yeah, this rebuild looks really good. We've got to be patient. Of course you can be patient about a rebuild, but what about yesterday was a rebuild? He's picking the wrong players again, the wrong tactics. We're not creating enough chances. Everything goes wrong, everybody bottles it and their head drops. The same principle. You can't rebuild if you've got a weak mentality team for a start. You can't rebuild if you are making the same mistakes. Nobody can deliver a cross. Nobody can deliver a set piece. Rashford taking free kicks and kicking it like a balloon. Not creating enough chances. Wrong selection of players. They're the same thing. This is not a rebuild and this is not about patience. This is the same mistakes as last season. That result yesterday and the Wolves game was exactly the same as last season. The only difference is the defence is a little bit tighter because you got Wan-Bissaka and Maguire in there. In relation to scoring goals, in relation to team selections, in relation to tactics, everything is the same. And that's why I don't trust this team. And that's why we're going to have more of these results. And that's why to anybody saying, oh, you've got to be patient, I'd love to be on that. I'd love to be patient. But tell me what was different about yesterday's loss to Crystal Palace, to Cardiff last year. Tell me what Wolves game last Monday was different to the Wolves game last year, apart from defensively being stronger. We ain't good enough. We're not good enough. And that is the enduring thing. We're not good enough. Like, you almost need to keep saying it to yourself and looking in the mirror. We're not good enough. All the talk, all the bravado, all the hope, we've been doing shuttle runs through the pre-season tour and we're all high-fiving and we're all getting on really well and Ollie's at the wheel and we're really happy with the summer transfer business and all the lies that they throw out there. The bottom line is we are not good enough. We don't beat teams like Crystal Palace because we're not good enough. And when you say it's not our day or we should have won, it's like we're playing Man City or Liverpool. We're playing Crystal Palace at home. Crystal Palace at Old Trafford. Oh, it just wasn't our day. Who are you to say that? Who are we to have to swallow that nonsense? Oh, it wasn't our day against Crystal Palace at home. We're Manchester United. Like, I feel like, I sometimes feel like I'm in an enclosed room and nobody's listening. Because we're Manchester United. I watched Liverpool versus Arsenal yesterday. And apart from the fact that they're 2 clubs I really don't like, what a game of football it was. And I know Arsenal got beat, but if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd come out of that game and go, yeah, we got beat, Liverpool are better than us. But tell you what, if we don't get top 4, there's something wrong. We've got a really good team, we're a growing team, we've got a philosophy, we've got speed in the attack, creativity. All right, we're a bit dodgy at the back, but we'll score lots of goals. This is a tough place to go, Anfield. Let's write it off and let's go again. And Arsenal have got something to build with. I look at United and I think, what have I got as a United fan to build on from yesterday? Beaten by Crystal Palace at home. And you know how Crystal Palace beat us as well? They just beat us in a very simple way. Defend, work hard, be compact. When you get the ball, move it quickly, try and hit them on the break. Just basics. Like, what's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Manchester United side going to do when Man City roll into town? Or let's be honest, when Leicester roll in a couple of weeks, because they play good football. Like, Crystal Palace just gave us the ball. Leicester will come and try and take the ball off us. And we'll lose possession again. And what we're going to do, be hitting teams on the break. We're just so far off. And also wanted to say as well, Paul Pogba. The support for Paul Pogba was great yesterday, but I've said this. Who can blame Paul Pogba for coming out in the summer and saying he wants a new challenge? Who can blame his agent saying he wants to go? Who can blame Pogba making it abundantly clear that he wants to go to Real Madrid? Seriously. Like, what has he done wrong in saying he wants to go? I look at that United team as a United fan, and I know that Paul Pogba is absolutely essential to us this season, because without him, we're lost. I mean, we're bad enough anyway, but we're lost. I cannot knock that guy for wanting to leave this football club. I mean, we can't go. We're Manchester United fans. We can't go anywhere. We love this club. We're the mugs who will just keep it afloat and keep chucking the money into the Glazers' pocket. But Paul Pogba, whether he likes United or not, he's a footballer and he's got a career ahead of him. Why should he stay? He's basically wasting a year of his career staying at Manchester United. This club's doing nothing this year. All he's doing is damaging himself. He's going to have to work a lot harder with worse players around him. I can't blame Paul Pogba for wanting to leave Manchester United at all. I really, really can't. And I think that, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer talks about fine margins, I just think you're just spinning a positive. I personally want to see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer not walking on the pitch after Chelsea, drawing with Chelsea last season, not walking on the pitch after losing with Palace, smiling and shaking hands with Crystal Palace players. Where is the grit? Where is the fight? Where is the leadership? Sir Alex Ferguson always protected his players, but God, you knew he was about on the touchline. He was there, getting in referees' faces. He was shouting. He was aggressive. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to start doing that. He needs to start. He knows this club more than any of us. He played there through the best period of our club's history. He was managed by the best manager in football history, and he needs to stop coming out and saying, "Oh, Jesse runs around well." I'm not saying slag Jesse off, just don't mention him. You know the truth, we know the truth. Just drop him next game. Don't mention him. Stop being happy about it afterwards and saying, oh, it's just one of those games. It's not one of the games. Why couldn't he just come out and say, that's unacceptable? Third game of the season, losing to a team like Crystal Palace. With all due respect, we should be beating them. We're just not good enough at the moment. And this is going to take a long job. And say what you said after the Everton game, where you came out last April and said, I'm going to be here for a long time, some of these players won't be. That was one of the best things you ever said. You didn't follow through on it, but it was music to the ears of the fans. Come out yesterday and say, it's just one of those days, fine margins, etc. It's not fine margins at home to Crystal Palace, Ollie, I'm afraid. Come out and say, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. Because you know what? That's the truth. It's not good enough. You can want McTominay to be the next Roy Keane. You're going to dream. You're dreaming. You can want Jesse Lingard to be as good as Dybala. You're dreaming. You're dreaming about a lot of this. You sort of... I don't know whether you believe it. I certainly don't believe it. But this team is nowhere near good enough. And he needs to accept that. And he needs to stop towing the party line of, oh, everyone's happy in training. We just don't know what's gone wrong. We're all staying positive. That's that and the other. Of course, you should go to Southampton and win next week. In fact, I'm going to say this now. I expect us to beat Southampton next week. We're away from home. Southampton have just got their first win. They'll fancy having a go at us. We'll hit them on the break. I think we'll beat them. And then everyone will be like, oh, maybe we'll beat Leicester at home after the international break. No, we won't. We won't beat Leicester after the international break playing like that. We're nowhere near. We're absolutely nowhere near. I'm going to do a video later on the 8 o'clock show saying what United's best 11 should be. And it's going to be very different to what many of you think and what Ollie's picking. But if he wants to get the fans behind him and he wants to have a rebuild, he's now in that ridiculously silly position after only 3 games where he's going to start losing fans' trust. And that's a really sad situation. But club legend or not, United fans aren't stupid. They were booing after the game yesterday, quite rightly, I think. I wouldn't do it, but I respect the people who did do it. And I think that the point remains that he is now falling into the same trap as Mourinho and Van Gaal, where certain players should be being picked, but he is stubbornly picking other players. And I tell you what, if Jesse Lingard keeps getting picked, he's got a problem. He really has. He's got to change things up. And he's got to... You can hide... It's not even hiding. You can work behind a rebuild if it really is a rebuild. But that wasn't a rebuild yesterday. It was the same nonsense. And what I tell you what, it wasn't Lingard yesterday. It wasn't Pogba yesterday. It wasn't like De Gea's mistake. The enduring thing for me yesterday was Marcus Rashford still taking free kicks and corners. I was like, we're Manchester United. We spend millions and millions and millions on coaching, on fitness, on players, on wages. And still, Marcus Rashford is taking free kicks at Manchester United. And I like Rashford, but as a free kick taker, he's never going to cut the mustard. Never going to do it. He basically is a Poundland Ronaldo at free kicks. And we, as a football club, are letting him do it. Where's the leadership on the pitch? There are better free kick takers on the pitch than Marcus Rashford. Pogba's got really good technique from a free kick. But we're letting Marcus Rashford take the free kicks and turning the football into a beach ball. It's just basics. And I worry. There's been rumours coming out the United dressing room for years with people like Mourinho and Van Gaal and Moyes that the managers don't control the dressing room. And I'm starting to worry, on what level does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer own that dressing room? Or actually, have we got, again, personalities who are running things in the club? I don't know whether that's true or not, but I worry about it when I see the same things happening. What else? Pogba, not good enough. Trust, no excuses. Easy. Screwed. Well, yeah, there were no excuses after that yesterday. No excuses at all. And big things need to change. But we've been going on about this for a long time. And I tell you what, I haven't really mentioned the board much, but that lack of spending in the summer was a disgrace. An absolute disgrace. And I don't know why that isn't getting spoken about as much as it should do. It should never be Solskjaer out this season. Even if he should be sacked, it shouldn't be about him. We all wanted Solskjaer to get the job. We all wanted Solskjaer to have a go. If he has a go and he's crap, fine. We all wanted that. But this, whatever you think about Solskjaer, he did not get backed in the summer. He got Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire, great. He got no midfielders, he didn't get Herrera replaced, and he didn't get any attackers either. And this club didn't spend any more than £70 million for the second summer in a row. They are tightwads, they are scrimpers, they are scammers, they are not interested in this nonsense that comes out at the start of every summer. Manchester United's a big club, we can do what we want, we're looking at top quality players. You can rest assured there's some quality players that want to come here. It's all lies. It's all lies to get you to buy shirts. It's all lies to get you to buy season tickets. It's all lies. And if Solskjaer fails, I don't want to see us turning on a manager like that. Of course, I'm going to be very critical of the manager this season. I'm very critical of him yesterday. He didn't learn the mistakes of last season and the last game. He didn't make the changes. He didn't get a set-piece taker. We're still making big mistakes. He's still very naive. But we knew that, and I hope Ollie can turn things round. But I don't want to be Solskjaer out at any point, even when we should be, because that won't help. If we lose our next 10 games, which we won't, and we're in October and we're all going Solskjaer out, why? What's the next manager going? That's my point, really. What's the next manager going to do? Oh, get Poch in. Get Poch in and give him no money. I'll tell you now, Pep Guardiola, with no money at United, and that squad would be sacked within 2 years. It's an impossible job. It's an impossible job. And until we understand that and start really changing things at this football club, we are going to get worse. And I tell you what the scariest thing is from all of this is that won't be the last bad result this season. It probably won't even be the last bad result this month. We are losing money. Sponsors are going to walk away. There are far more attractive clubs than Manchester United in England now. There's 3 or 4 more attractive clubs from a sponsorship point of view. We're a toxic club. We've got a pissed off fan base. We've got an unengaged ownership. Sponsors are going to start walking away. Money's going to stop coming in. Less money will therefore be spent. We're going to be on the TV less, which means less money coming in. The board have created this situation. They've got very lucky over the last 15 years because they had the world's greatest ever manager who kept the ship afloat despite all the leaks. Now, you haven't got that sort of captain of the ship. We're inexperienced. We're sinking as a football club. And we've got owners who think they can just keep chucking scraps and feeding themselves caviar. But the problem is, those scraps ain't enough to feed this club anymore. And they're still eating caviar. And I tell you what, we're going to sink. Financially, we're going to sink. We could be in a you know what? The scary thing is, people say, oh, we'll never be Leeds. We'll never be relegated. We'll never go bankrupt. We are going to start losing a lot of money. Because the only people that are going to put money into this club are you and me, the fans. But people are getting fed up. The sponsors is the big money, and they're going to start walking away. And the TV companies are going to start walking away. Why would you, as Sky or BT, put Manchester United on TV at the moment? We're terrible. We're a terrible football team, and we're starting to be consistently bad. That's the switch off. I saw it with Liverpool in the 90s. They weren't on telly as much because they became very consistent at being very, very bad and very unappealing. And that's exactly what we're doing. Exactly what we're doing. And it's you I feel sorry for the most, and me. As the fans, it's unacceptable. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Get your comments in below. I think the enduring thing for me is that, look, we've got to stick with Ollie. I accept that he's making massive mistakes, but we've got to stick with Ollie because the whole rhetoric of the summer was we can't out another manager as fans. We can't do that. We were right to do it with Mourinho, we were right to do it with Van Gaal, we were right to do it with Moyes. But if we do it again, we're still stuck with the same board who won't back managers. So whether Ollie's the right man or they're not, and maybe he's not, the point remains he hasn't been backed properly, and the board really don't give a shit about this football club. And that's got to be the angle if we end up going down that. Hopefully we can start turning things around, because I've watched the video tonight. Ollie can pick an 11 and pick a side that can start to pick up points, and we might get back into a race for top 4. But he's got to change things quickly. Tune in at 8 o'clock. Thanks for watching.